What's up, everyone? It's NFL Week 5, and this is the game plan where we break down the best bets for the main slate for NFL Week 5 and talk some DFS plays as well. With us to break it all down, Sharp App lead analyst, John Statsational Alesia, sports bettor extraordinaire, DFS player extraordinaire as well. What's going on, John?
Not much, man. Just still riding high from the Mets win last night. I know you're not a baseball guy, but
no, I did. Of course, I'm the Mazins, man. I'm on board now. I'm in. That this series, magic is happening. As a Mets fan for a long time, every once in a while they catch the magic, and when the magic is there, they're going the distance. I feel it.
It's quite the week. I mean, the comeback against the Braves, that comeback last night, which against a really good closer, was unbelievable. Alonso, who just looked awful so far, and comes up with the big hit.
I'm telling you, miracles, the miracle Mets.
Miracle Mets, man. 69. This is rivaling. If they could go all the way, rivals the 69 Miracle Mets.
Anytime they've gotten there, it's been the Miracle Mets because
86 they had the best team in.
That's
one of the best teams of all time. But
2000. Come on.
2000 was a terrible team.
Yeah, not even good.
The outfield was probably the worst outfield to make a World Series.
The other thing that's exciting,
John, Peyton,
not just Mets. The other thing that's exciting, we are showing on screen the new beta. Of course, this is still beta, but the Sharp App odds screener, which is the most comprehensive odds screen that you're ever going to see. Look at all these sports books. Just to be clear, I'm not even showing them all, but you've got close to 70 sports books available now. The sharpest books, exchanges, real time.
What about the markets?
What's that?
What about the markets?
Tons of markets. It's just everything you need all here on screen. You can compare odds across books, and so much more is coming. This isn't even a complete product yet. This will be completed best odds. We're going to have consensus sharp odds. We have everything coming to this, the hold percentage, a bunch of little extras. That's why this isn't quite live yet. But I mean,
the EV
tool, of course, coming down the road, and some other tools, the updates to the Proptimizer, and the biggest thing that's coming for Sharp this year is going to be tracking steam moves and the ability for the users to set alerts, which we can now direct text you on your phone with a push message, because Sharp is also an app. So you get a push notification like, hey, if the spread of one book is like 20% different from the other ones, and you want to hit that one, that's coming down the road as well. So Sharp App leveling up what it's doing, really putting out tools that professional sports bettors and serious sports bettors would want. We're kind of going from the concept, the original concept of just like targeting newer bettors who need education, and we're moving on to tools that professional sports bettors need, want, and desire. So I put it up on screen here. We'll use it for our odd screen. It might not be the easiest to see, but I can see it. So let's jump right into it. NFL.
How fast are these updating?
It's real time. These are happening in actual real time. Our CTO, our tech team put together a technology. We're the first ones in on this new tech that allows direct streaming via the website, adjusting in real time. Other sites, you either have to download a special application on your computer in order to get something similar to this. That's why a lot of any other company that has this kind of odd screen is really charging a lot more money, because they have to, the tech level in order to deliver it is more difficult than what we did, which we kind of use next level technology on this, which is really special. And our team, so proud of them for putting this together.
So basically, if you're looking at some of the sharp books, which tend to lead the market, if you see a price change there, you could wind up, there's a lag there in the U.S. market a lot of times on if they move. And you could be able to get in before you maybe DraftKings or FanDuel gets that has that move. So those, it's like trading. It's like being a day trader and having the more, you want as quick information as you possibly can. I mean, there were people putting servers in like literally next to the exchange to get it to the second. We don't need that necessarily in sports betting, but you're going to have up to the second odd changes. And when you see those the sharper books move in anticipation of the books that you have access to moving, you can get a bet in before they move. So yeah, it's going to be for the pro better. This is going to be invaluable. And there's sites out there that people pay a lot more than the Sharp app just to get an odd screen, just to get this. let alone all the other tools.
For not as fast of an odds screen, you're paying anywhere from $200 to $599 a month for slower screeners. So this is really special stuff. I mean, you can see right here, I've got Pinnacle and Circa at the front of the list here. And even in this first game, Jets Vikings, right? If you look at Caesars right now, you can get +3 on this game at -120. Pinnacle and Circa both have it at +2.5. So, yeah, we just had a little adjustment. And so
it's going to cost you
+3 is a pretty good deal. It's -120. You're going to pay a little more.
You pay -1. It's -120, right? At the +3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're willing to pay 12 cents on from 2.5 to 3 is worth it. So so that's a good price if you like that side of, if you like the Jet side of the game. It's good. I'd pay 12 cents all day. And again, we don't have this is far from complete. We're going to have the best odds on there as well. And that's going to really help you just kind of quickly go through this. But yeah, this is going to be priceless for those sports betting. But yeah, I'll take the +3, 12-cent differential. We'll get it. I mean, if you want to jump into the games, let's do it.
Yeah, we'll jump into the games, but I just, I mean, check it out. Even right now, ESPN bet, if you like the Viking side, and let's talk about this game. ESPN bet has the Viking side at -1. So you can kind of do the flip side. I like the Vikings in this game. So that's kind of why I'm looking for, hey, what's the least points I can give out here? And yeah, the ESPN bet has it at -1, which is not bad on the Viking side. But let's just do the game on this one because that's not part of the main DFS slate. But what do you think here? Jets, Vikings in London. Consensus is -2.5, +2.5 right now on the odds. And two really, really good defenses. I kind of want to check the total
40.5. Yeah, 40.5 on the total. 40.5.
It's 40. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's kind of like an under situation as well there. No.
Certainly, the way both of these defenses have played, I think Minnesota just about in all their games. I've got them ranked. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I think I've got them as the third best defense statistically right now this year. Believe it or not, Denver has been the top defense on the season. But yeah, I mean, Minnesota's been as good as it gets defensively. I think they've been a surprise team, at least for me. I don't know too many people who anticipated the Vikings getting off to the start that they've gotten off to. Look, Jets disappointing. I said this, I bring up Denver. Jets played Denver last week. Denver had the surprising win on the road in Tampa. Then they come into the Jets. I think everyone, certainly survivor picks. They were popular, the Jets last week. I have a funny feeling we're going to look back and say maybe this Denver team's a little bit better just defensively. I don't know. This offense is going to take that offense did well against Tampa, but we saw what happened last night, just Tampa getting torched. Defensively, Tampa's not very good. The Jets, we know, are good. We thought the Jets would be able to hold that Denver team down last week, and they did. Just the offense just could not click and couldn't put points up. But I think we're going to realize in the next few weeks that this Denver defense is actually really strong, which is another thing I really didn't anticipate coming into the year. So I'm not going to knock the Jets. I actually like the Jets in this game, and I like that +3 number. I know this is one of the games that you really like, the Viking side, but this is a game I think we just from the line moves earlier in the week to me looked like the sharper side was the Jets. My models like the Jets in this game. We were getting some discussion in the Discord with a lot of people curious as to why the Jets look to be getting the money here from the sharper side. And I just think it's a little bit as well as the Vikings has played, as well as Sam Darnold's played. I guess we haven't even talked about that angle. Sam Darnold coming back here to face the Jets, a little revenge matchup there. And he is the best quarterback in the league right now, certainly from a quarterback rating standpoint. And we've talked about, I've mentioned it before. I think it's the year of the pocket passer in the NFL. Not that some of these athletic, the Lamar Jacksons, I consider he's a pocket passer now who can really excel at running. But the Jaden Daniels can run, but he's looked really good as a pocket passer. I think ultimately you need to have that skill, and you can't just be a running quarterback right now with how defenses are playing these teams. So Sam Darnold has always obviously had the physical ability. That's what made him the pick, the Jets pick. It was number 1 overall, right? The Sam Darnold pick. And he's proven it right now. So he looks really good. I think this Jet defense, I think this is the first time. I always think that, those games when they go to London, it's always a little tricky. I think they fixed a lot of this. We had the issue earlier in the year in Brazil where the surface wasn't the best. We've had that in London in the past. I think they've kind of fixed those issues in London. We'll see if they fix it for the few. I'm sure they'll be back down in Brazil again for games. But so I think from that, I don't think we'll have to worry about that. But you do worry about the travel, and you worry about these teams coming out a little bit flat offensively. So in a game where I'm seeing two defenses that are excelling, I do agree it's going to be a defensive struggle. I like getting the points in these low-scoring games, so I like the Jets plus the 3. That Caesars line looked fine to me at the at minus 120.
Yeah, classic John. I'm going with the dogs. It's been working.
Yeah, it has worked. Yeah,
it's been working really well. Yeah, I'm kind of the opposite. The way the Jets play, they have a tough time generating offense against a good D. The Jets' offense is really still very subpar at this point, and they have a hard time generating a lot of offense against teams that are good defensively. I think the Vikings are maybe the second best defense right now in the league, and that's my concern. So I think just like they had a hard time scoring last week, the Jets will have a hard time scoring this week. Vikings have a little more offensive firepower, so I think I just think they're going to get it done here. Unfortunately, unless the Jets get my boy, bring in Devontae, but it's no time for that. It's too late. When they get Devontae, they'll be better. In that game, though, I mean, Jordan Addison stands out to me as like one of the best DFS plays in that showdown. But let's get into the main slate here. Baltimore Ravens at the Bengals. Bengals are home, 2.5-point underdogs. Ravens coming off the big win. You know, this is, I feel like, without even looking at the Sharp report, this feels like the time when the Sharps will be on Cincinnati and the public will be on Baltimore. Baltimore came off, again, coming off the big win, looked like the best team in the NFL. Bengals been mediocre all year, but play these division games, especially home games, really well and have played the Ravens well historically. Is this the spot where, you know, the Ravens coming off that big win, they disappointing loss to a divisional foe? It just feels like football betting 101.
Yeah, it's always I always like those spots, right? So typically that's what I like. I like to fade teams that are coming off, you know, a big win or blowout win. I like to buy teams that are coming off a tough losses or even a blowout loss. I think Jacksonville was a prime example of that last week. Got a little dicey, of course, at the end of the game if you watched it, where they almost had a safety on those laterals. But I like those spots. This game, I'm not too fond of the game. I think you're right. I think the public is going to love Baltimore at this number, getting it at less than a field goal with the way Cincinnati has played. I think just from the eye test, to me, I have a hard time thinking Baltimore doesn't cover this game. My numbers say really that the line here is correct and that there's really no play on the game. Just from a fan, I think you're probably in the same boat here. I mean, it's hard to imagine Baltimore's not going to win this game. I mean, Baltimore's record is worse than I think what this team has shown this season. I think Baltimore's still one of the top teams in the league. I think they've been better than Kansas City's 4-0, but really has kind of squeaked by as they've gone. I still think Baltimore's the class of the AFC despite the record. So if I think that to be true, and I was kind of bearish on Cincinnati coming into the year, I think Baltimore wins the game. But from my number standpoint, this is not going to be a bet for me. I just don't have anything to back a bet. Now, we did see some sharp money come in on the over, and this one's interesting because it really hasn't moved the market higher. So that's another concern. You've got the defense. Now, the Baltimore defense hasn't been great, and we know how bad the Cincinnati defense has gotten torched in a few of these games. I mean, Jaden Daniels on the Monday night game.
The Baltimore defense has been good. They completely shut down
the Baltimore defense. But you look at their games in the fourth quarter, that the defense, maybe on the whole, the defense hasn't been bad. I got to look at my numbers as far as where I have them ranked.
You can run on them a little bit, but
you can.
No. Wait a minute. Let me get
you can run on them.
Hold on.
Yeah, bring up my sheet.
Rushing -12, passing +16.
Yeah, they've been a little bit better against the pass, but this team has been.
Yeah,
they've given up a lot of points in fourth quarters, and they have not been able to kind of hold teams down late, and which is odd when you see their passing numbers have been good. But in this game, I don't know. I'm not sold on the defense. They have been overall better than average. I've got them at 16.2, which is a little bit better than the average defense. And the Cincinnati defense has really been on the lower end of defenses in the league. So again, I kind of, I think the Baltimore offense should excel here. I think I've got the Baltimore offense is right now performing as the number one offense in the league. So you find it, on the surface, it just looks like that 2.5 number just looks a little low, and I think the public is going to go that way. And you know how it goes. When it looks too good to be true, oftentimes that other side of the game hits. So, if I was playing in a pool, some sort of a pick'em type of pool, I'd probably just take the Bengals here to be a little bit different than the rest of the picks. But I have no numbers here that back either side of this game. But that total is interesting. Like I said, we saw sharp money come in on the over, yet it hasn't pushed the price higher. I talk about that on this show a lot. When you see the sharps come in on our sharp report on one side, yet it doesn't move the line in that direction. That's pause. That gives me pause. So in a game that kind of looks like it's going to be offensive, perhaps it's not as good an offensive game as we thought.
Could be. DFS angles here. Derrick Henry's the talk of the town right now as far as a running back, and he's doing what I thought he was going to do before the season, which is excel in the perfect situation for Derrick Henry. He could never have found a better landing spot than the Ravens. It's perfect for him. The Ravens running game in general is looking pretty good. So of course we can go right back to Derrick Henry on the Ravens side. If this game is competitive, I'll give you just a little sneaky thought, and it's not that, it feels gross, but if it is a competitive high scoring game, then maybe this is that game where, especially if Baltimore falls behind, that's what you need. You need Baltimore to fall behind the game, and then you'll get the Mark Andrews potential, resurrection. Remember The Undertaker back in the day in WWF?
I do.
He'd be right now, Andrews is in the coffin. He needs to be, he needs that. The resurrection will happen. It's like, remember that? How excited you would get when The Undertaker would resurrect and sit up. People like, oh my God, he was dead a second ago. I thought he was dead.
I love it.
I thought he was dead. That could happen with Andrews.
I love the wrestling. Everything from that point to previous years.
I'm going to be referencing WWF 90s, and I will call it WWF the appropriate name from the 90s.
Did you watch the McMahon documentary?
Of course. I was just watching it, and he's the man. Like, come on. Vince McMahon. He's the man. Say what you want about the guy, but he loved his job.
I would say he's certainly done some.
He's a bit of a listen. He's from the 90s. Cut the guy some slack. Him, Diddy. There was a lot of sex parties in the 90s. Like shit was just happening.
Well,
there was no law.
Yeah, some of it's a little
they were horrible.
Some of the stuff is true.
Diddy's disgusting, but some of the stuff is just, it's horrifying to even think that went on.
Especially the Diddy stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. Ravens, Bengals. So I think the only side you could bet here is the Bengals if you're going to bet it. As far as DFS angles, like I said, it's Derrick Henry. Bengals running attack is nothing that I'm excited about at all. But Jamar Chase is always going to be an exciting play as well. So there's a few potential DFS spots here. Let's move on to the next game. Panthers at the Bears. And it's another interesting underdog spot. Panthers are plus 3.5. Got Andy Dalton, Big Red, coming in, slinging it, pocket passer style against the Bears defense that's been pretty good. I don't know how the Bears earned a 3.5 favorite ever. Like, they haven't shown that they're the kind of an offense that should ever be favored by 3.5. I don't care who they're playing against. And the Panthers are not the same. The Panthers team with Dalton is like a middle of the road NFL team. They're not some easy turd to get picked on. So from the DFS angles perspective, this is, even in the 41.5 point total, a lot of goodness could come from this game. Of course, Deontay, go right back to it. Not a huge upside for Deontay, probably not going to win you a tournament this week. I don't think you win tournaments playing players against Bears defense. They're good, but solid in cash, going to get the targets, all that good stuff. And on the Bears side, it's all upside plays. Komet, DJ Moore, Brom, somebody's probably going to, somebody could pop off there. So what do you think in terms of the bet here? Panthers getting 3.5. That is a critical number.
Yeah, it is, and I like this. I like us to the over. I think there's some 4s out there. Yeah,
you can get the 4 on Caesars and DraftKings.
Yeah,
so look at that. I mean, by the way, 3.5 on FanDuel, 4. So you can get your 4. Where's Pinnacle? 888's got 5.5. Go to travel to Europe for that one.
You're 2 away from Pinnacle if you keep going.
Yeah,
got it at 4 minus 110.
Penny's plus 4. So if you get the 3.5, you're doing better. If you wanted to be on that side. I'm sorry. Yeah, on the other side of the game. Yeah.
So I already put this one in. Our subscribers have this over at the Sharp app. The Panthers plus the 4. I believe.
Yes, you do. Okay.
4. Yeah. So, and someone else has also, now that I'm looking at the app, someone else has Steve's in on this game as well. We both got it at 4, so he likes it as well. We got two of our pro cappers are on this game. So,
but real quick note, John, and just another little Sharp app note of why this is cool. If you're going to do the +4, do it on Caesars at -105 because you're paying -110 on DraftKings. And I know you don't think it matters, people who are watching. It's not you, John.
No, yeah.
Watcher, you don't think it matters. What does it matter? I win. What does it matter when I go to the supermarket and I buy something for $4 and you pay $5? I just won by $1. We got the same product. I paid $1 less. You're paying $5 more to buy this on DraftKings than you are on Caesars. It's that simple. You keep dropping those $5 bills in betting. Good luck. No one makes an ROI that's that much more than 5% if you're betting a lot of times. Like, that's the ROI of betting if you're doing well.
People have no idea of what they're giving away over the course of the year at just a nickel per line. If you're saving a nickel a line, which you will if you get multiple sports, if you're in a state where you could have multiple sports books, and then you have the app like this. We didn't even mention the fact that on the props in the app itself, you're going to be able to open up directly into the book and bet it immediately before the line changes.
We'll save some special features, but you can,
that's going to be great as well.
Market, so you don't have to go and look for it on the your sports book. It takes you right to it, loads it on your ticket. Some of the tech we're bringing to the Sharp app is going to be crazy. Guys, sign up for this. I'm telling you, everybody who's part of DFS Army, John, knows that I do this. We don't raise the prices on people. I appreciate the loyalty. I appreciate people getting in with us. And as we build up our subscriptions and our tools and our value proposition, the people who got in early, they lock in the price that they're in for on the monthlies. We never raise it as long as you're subscribed. And I will tell you right now, this is a subscription that costs something. What we're putting out, that's a $400 to $500 a month subscription that currently the Pro Plus is $99 a month. Within a few months, that's going to be $150 a month, and then it's going to go to $200. And everybody who's locked in at the lower pricing, and even better, promo code DFSA 30% off at Sharp app. So you're going to get in there for like $70 a month for the fast odds one, and we have the less what we call the light version for $49.99, which is also really awesome, but just not lightning speed real time. It'll have slightly less of the features, but those subs are going to go up. You want to lock that in right now. We're going beta next week on this, so you'll have access to this screen literally in about a week, and then from there you're going to see all of the stuff coming in, and it will be full live for everybody in a couple weeks after that. So get in there now. Now is that time to lock it in. You want these tools.
Yeah, and I'm not I could care less about the sports books, right? I mean, I'm not pushing you to have multiple sports books because I want them to, get your business. It's just beneficial to you. Between they do give you a bunch of bonuses for signing up. Someone was just asking, I think it was BetMGM's got the $1,500 up to $1,500 free bet on your initial bet, and they've all got promotions. And you could go through us, of course, if you want, and get those promos. But it's not. I don't want to promote the sports book. I'm telling you, for your own benefit, if you have multiple,
just for getting out,
you are going to save money. Utilize all the bonuses and the free bets that they give you at multiple sports books. They want to get your business, but use it to your advantage. And then, of course, having a tool like this where you could get in the best price possible is going to save you a ton over the course of the season. Like you said, I don't think the average person realizes just how much a nickel a game is going to save you in the long haul.
I'm going to keep it real. The average person doesn't care because they're not a serious bettor. We want to talk to serious bettors, and that's I think the difference. So that's why we're really referencing, if you're a sharp bettor, if you're an advantage bettor, if you bet with an edge, if that's the kind of bettor that you want to be, these are the things you have to pay attention to. If you just want to have casual fun, it really doesn't matter because who cares? You're just betting $20 on the game, enjoying the game with the betting interest, and that's cool too. And yeah, hey, follow the sharps. We can help you with that. But if you want to be serious about it, you really have to understand the ROI of every play that you're making.
What a lot of the casual bettors like to do is they buy lottery tickets. Basically, it's fun.
Yeah,
they want to $5 parlay, which is fine. Everyone wants to play that 15-team parlay or whatever 15-leg parlay for $5 that's going to pay them out $30,000.
I almost don't want to reveal this, John.
Go ahead.
We have a tool coming at Sharp where you'll be able to plug in a parlay and hit go, and it will compare what that parlay will return on pretty much any sports book in existence. So once again, you'll see the difference on this tool, it's going to show you where the advantage bets are. Like a parlay you could take the same 4-leg SGP and run it on FanDuel, DraftKings, MGM, and Caesars, and the payouts are wildly different, and it is impossible to do it manually. You'd have to be running from book to book, checking this stuff. It's impossible.
Well, the way we're going to do it is through a simulation. So they're going to simulate the games, and we'll see the probability.
Well, the probability as well, but even just showing you the actual
but
money line, like what the odds are. Forget it, what can win or lose. It's going to show you, hey, if I did this 3-unit on Caesars, it's plus 1,000. But if I did it on DraftKings, it's plus 1,500. Oh my goodness. Why am I leaving the 500 on the table? Let me bet it there.
Well, you know what people are going to find out? I think the way most people play these SGPs, let's say through the NFL, they're like, well, I'm going to take Lamar's over passing yardage, and then I'm going to take Zay Flowers over receiving yardage because they're obviously correlated. Like, and I'm going to take our Mark Andrews over receptions, whatever it is. And they put all these overs because obviously they're highly correlated. Then, of course, the sports book understands the correlation, and those are actually, you're going to find out once we launch that, just how bad these sports books are killing. What actually, and we haven't seen this yet, but some of the stuff I've looked at, where almost when you go against the correlation, you take Zay Flowers under along with the Lamar Jackson over is potentially a better. You may have a positive edge on those. We're going to find out when that tool is available, and you're going to be able to find some really, really good plays. And playing a 10-leg parlay at a plus edge, it could wind up, they're not going to hit often. That's why they're thousands and thousands to one. But I'd rather play those at a positive edge than play them at a negative edge.
Yeah, it's just not been available. We're able to use it actually behind the scenes, but we don't have the public facing product out there yet. But it is very, very cool, and it's mind blowing when you understand that. I've done it too. I do an SGP. I just assume that I'm getting better rates by combining all these things, but you don't realize how much they're nerfing correlated, and of course it works the opposite for negative correlations, but more so across different sports. But that's the thing that blows my mind. The same exact SGP on FanDuel and DraftKings has a wildly different payout. So I don't have the time to be checking. So having a tool that will auto check that is something that no one's doing, and it's super cool. And again, it's a betting tool that an advantage bettor would want. If you're just a casual, you don't need stuff like that. You don't care.
Well, I mean, without getting into detail, we know some people who have beaten some of the books.
Yeah, I don't want to.
On these type of play. But what I'm saying is, you're going to be able to find these type of plays, and it takes a ton of work to figure out where there's an edge that it's near impossible. But we know some pretty bright people who found some of these markets, and they've and exploited them. And now you're going to just be able to do it with the touch of a button and find out where you're getting that edge. And for the really, really sharp people out there that want to put a lot of these bets in and round robin them and do all that sort of thing, you're going to find an edge. And when it pops, you're gonna do really well. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, for ourselves too. All right, let's keep going here. Next up, we've got looks like Miami at New England. Did I skip one? No. Yeah, Miami at New England. The Patriots are 1.5-point home favorites in this one. We have not heard anything. I have not heard. I was expecting by this point in the week to hear that Drake May has been named the starter. I haven't heard nothing. Have you heard anything that implies that Brisket is going to be not going to play, or is it going right back to what they've been doing?
I haven't heard anything either. I'm unsure as to that, but I do like Miami here plus the points. Miami's been burning me since the Tua injury. I'm gonna get back on them, and at some point we're gonna hit a bottom here. I feel like I've been trying to catch a falling knife, but they have not looked good at all. But this Patriot team, I think they've looked pretty bad as well. This total has gone down to 36.5. Just one of the worst games on the board. Certainly not a great game for a DFS DFS standpoint. But I do like the Dolphins. We haven't seen anything on the Sharp report on this game at all.
I think they're waiting also. I think everybody's thinking, when are they going to announce May as the starter?
I don't think it's going to change the line all that much. I don't think we're going to see a dramatic change. I would get in on this one with the point. I haven't bet it yet, so I can't advise you to do what I haven't done. I'm kind of.
You're really going to take Miami with no quarterback with what they have going on?
Yeah, I'm still going to take the Dolphins in this game. Well, it's not like New England has a quarterback yet either.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, they're pretty crap too. So, gross game. Don't touch this for DFS. Avoid. Avoid. That's all. Nothing to do there. The only side would have been, I thought about Ramondre Stevenson for a minute, but he's fumbling and he's got issues too.
He would be the only one to contemplate.
No, you can't. Yeah,
no, but he's the only option in this game, just because the Miami defense has been so bad against the run.
Yeah. No, I thought about Ramondre earlier in the week, but even now I'm off of it. He's got fumbling issues. I guess it's still playable because they're not changing what they're doing yet. But I mean, one fumble and he's off the field. So I'm really worried about. I just think it's risky for no reason. It's not that good of a play anyway. Bills at the Texans, though. I thought this was going to be one of the best games of the week. This is up there for me, but weirdly, it's not really projecting that well at 47.5 point total. The Texans are on FanDuel 1.5 point home favorites. Let me just see if they're looks like Penny -1 on Pinnacle, so 1.5. I see it 0.5 point on Fanatics, so basically close to a pick 'em. But Houston is getting a mild favorite. Khalil Shakir out for the Bills this week. Bills coming off that horrific game. Listen, the Bills usually bounce back after a bad game. That is just what they do, or it's what they've done historically. Is this a bounce back spot? I think so. But they kind of lack weapons, wide receiver weapons. It's concerning. So on the Houston side, it looks like Joe Mixon will be out again. We'll get Cam Akers and Dare Olugunbwambe as the running back duo. Not sure if that's super exciting, but that's what it is. And on the Bills side, maybe Curtis Samuel now because K-Shack is out. I don't really know what they're doing at wide receiver or how to take advantage of it. But I do think that Josh Allen's probably the best QB play of the week somehow or another.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's one of those quarterbacks where he doesn't necessarily need the prime wide receiver core to be to basically lift his team. So in other words, he's a quarterback that lifts the wide receivers, as opposed to take a Jalen Hurts, in my opinion, needs to have some of these better wide receivers to make him better. There's not that many quarterbacks left in the league who could really do that. You had Brady, obviously, all those years, who didn't need a great wide receiving core. You've got Patrick Mahomes, who's proven it. I think Allen's in that category as well. So I'm not as concerned with him. On the flip side, Houston's got all the wide receivers. I mean, which makes it difficult in DFS. Obviously, they had a big week last week with
Diggs' revenge narrative too.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you got a little Diggs action here, and he's been good also. I think he got in the end zone. Got in the end zone for the first time in his career on a rush. I believe he was going to pass it and then and wound up running it in. That was his first time he's ever done that. Run one in his career. But I like Buffalo in this game. I agree with you here. Buffalo's one of those bounce back type of teams. I thought they played obviously did not play their best last week. Again, coming into the season, I thought Houston was a bit overrated. I still think they are as such. Could have easily lost that game to a Jacksonville team that has not been playing well at all. I think Buffalo is, to me, I still think it's Buffalo and Baltimore as the two best teams. I know a lot of people think it's Kansas City.
Yeah, don't count out Kansas City.
I'm not counting them out. I think the Kansas City's got the X factor in the quarterback. I mean, that's it. So they're always going to be there. But I still think Baltimore. I think there's value in Baltimore and Buffalo here long term coming out of the AFC. So I like Baltimore in this game. I'm going to. I just think they win the game. So at this, at +1, I feel like they're giving you some value here. I like Buffalo to win it.
I like it. I like play. And again, lots of DFS goodness on both sides of this. The wide receivers for the Texans, great. Nico Collins, and definitely Diggs a little bit. So why not? I think maybe Cook on the Bill side would be of interest. And I don't really know Dalton Kincaid and all that stuff. So plenty to like from DFS angle. But I think my favorite DFS game of the week is coming up right here, John. And, you're going to say it's weird. You're going to say, hey, I wasn't thinking of that one. Or maybe you're not. I don't know. But we got the Colts at the Jaguars. And I'll tell you what I love about it in a second. Jaguars are 3-point home favorites in this one. The total is currently set at 46.5. Now, here are some of the interesting angles. it looks like we'll get Joe Flacco. Flacco time for the Colts, and I loves me some Flacco. Okay, just like I loved Dalton a couple weeks ago in that debut, and he won everybody the million if they played him. Flacco has that possibility this week. Flacco in the game elevates Pittman and Josh Downs to great plays. So if Flacco's playing, I loves me some Pittman. Give me those Downs. I love it all. All the Colts offense, even Trey Sermon, is playable in a spot like this. So all of it. Love that Colts offense. Jaguars are crap. But you know what's not good? The Colts defense. And it actually allows the Jaguars to finally have a potential good game. I'm talking definitely Christian Kirk, but all of Brian Thomas Jr., a little spendy, but all of Thomas Jr., Kirk, even Gabe Davis, maybe, and even Trevor hasn't had a good game in so long. I can't even remember. Lawrence. He won't burn your food. Hold on. He won't burn your food like Florence, but he will run up in your crib like his name is Search Warrants. But this time, maybe we could play some Trevor Lawrence and some Colts +3. What do you say?
Yeah, I kind of knew. Well, obviously it's on the screen here. I kind of knew you were going this way. I think some people are going to like this game from a DFS standpoint. Interesting from the betting standpoint. The line has the total itself has come down off of 47.5 now down to 46.5. So
it's going the wrong way.
Yeah, it's a curious move. We haven't seen any sharp money on the game at all, whether it be the total, at least at the book that we have that we get the information from. I don't like the game from either side. I had Jacksonville last week. That wound up being a winner. I'm still concerned here with Lawrence. Now, against this defense, if we're going to pick on a defense, picking on the Colt defense is not a bad idea. He made – I did watch a bit I went back and watched a bit of that game, and he made some good throws. Also made some poor decisions. I'm in love now with the Kurt Warner YouTube channel, by the way. You gotta go watch Kurt. He doesn't. Unfortunately, he doesn't break down every single game, but he did break down Trevor Lawrence last week. So, listening to someone who has forgotten more about football than I'll ever know, break down quarterback play, certainly at the quarterback position, is fascinating because the stuff that you just don't know. You were never in a huddle, at the NFL level, and to know what he's looking at. And what a quarterback should be looking at is invaluable. So I've learned a ton from watching him. So definitely just a shout out to Kurt Warner. His channel is great. And he broke down the Trevor Lawrence and what some of the good things that he did and some of the bad things. And a lot of the questions he had, he wasn't necessarily sure if that's how he's being coached, because he knows some coach, without getting into the technicalities, some of the reads, the way he's reading and the progressions, he's like, it could just be that they want him to look at this first, certain matchups first. He goes, but that's not how I would necessarily play the position. So maybe he's being coached poorly. Some of it is just a couple of poor throws, but he did make some unbelievably good throws as well. So I think against this Colt defense, I'm with you. I think he'll be fine in the game. I think he's going to be able to put up some points, but I'm concerned with just how the price has moved on the total. I really have no opinion on this line. I think it's a very tough line. I think 3 is the right number here for this game. Just again, a little curiosity behind this total. We haven't seen sharp money come out of the book that we look at, but having this move a point to the under is interesting with a couple of teams who really just haven't impressed anyone on the defensive side of the ball.
I'm betting the over. I'm taking the Colts and the over. I'm going against all that sharp money. I see it. I mean, if you go to the sharp odds screen, the total looks like it's going down to 46. It does not look headed. If you look at Circa, well, Circa pulled it, but if I'm looking at Pinnacle, it's at 46 now. It's not at 46.5, and it looks like it wants to go to 45.5. As a matter of fact, it looks like it's headed down, and I don't really get it. I think the reason is because they don't know the Flacco. They don't know what's up with Joe.
I said this, you've seen the pocket passer have success in this league. As long as they get, he needs protection. He's not going to run around the field, but these guys are just, they're able to pick these defenses apart.
They're playing a Jaguars team that does not have a good pass rush. This is a good situation. So I think this is just what happened with the Panthers 2 weeks ago when Dalton came out. Everybody thought that was a bad thing. It's a good thing. I think if, again, Richardson might play, that could be all out. So forget what I'm saying. I'm going to wait till tomorrow, till Saturday, to lock anything in. But if Richardson plays, all bets are off. As far as the over, I don't like the overs at all with Richardson in there. But if it's Flacco, give me the over. And give me the Colts to cover the +3. Hell yeah. Yeah, and give me the pieces from this game offensively. The only thing I would stay away from is the Jaguars running game. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. ETN has just not been looking good, and unless like the Tank Bigsby was out or something like that, I wouldn't go near it. All right. Next up, we got the Browns at the Commanders, and like interesting, I guess, breaking news would be just that I'm not sure what the story is with Brian Robinson Jr. He has not been practicing. He might not play. And if B-Rob is out, I believe Eckler is back, and then Jeremy McNichols, aka Jeremy McNuckles, he actually did pretty well as the backup running back for the Commanders last week. So I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be Eckler taking on a bigger workload or how that's going to work, but whatever it is, it probably bodes well for a low-cost running back from the Commanders, potentially. I love the Commanders this year. I love Jaden Daniels. He's so poised. I think Commanders win this game. I think -3 is fine at home. No worries there. Browns are not that good of an offense. Watson just kind of stinks. But the Commanders are the nut defense to attack. So Amari Cooper, sure. I'm on it. On the Brown side, Commander side, again, we go back to Terry McLaurin and whatever running back we think is the best, if it's Eckler or maybe take a shot with McNuckles. What do you say, John?
Yeah, I mean, I like what you say about what you said with Jaden Daniels, the one word there, poised, because that was kind of what I watched that game last week, and I said, boy, he looks really mature. And that kind of goes with the poised. He doesn't look like a rookie playing quarterback. The thing I like is he's very decisive in when he's going to run. But he's running, they call some plays for him to run the ball, but when he's kind of scrambling to run, when he's going to go, he goes. And he kind of takes off, and he's obviously pretty good at getting some yardage. I kind of worry about him because he's a little frail looking, at least at that position. And he's pretty good at sliding, not taking hits. So as long as he's not taking the hits that a guy like Richardson, who seems,
I almost think that Richardson being big, for some reason, I feel like he gets hurt more. Like he almost like
because he's running like a running back. Like he's hitting guy. I wouldn't want to get hit by any of these guys, but boy, I don't want to get hit by Richardson. I mean, he's just a beast. But when you are seeking contact, like it seems like he does, I mean, the play he got hurt on, was again, he just kind of, he gets in there, he's throwing his shoulder around and hitting guys, where Jaden Daniels looks to be a little bit more prudent. He's going to slide, he's quick, and he's going to get what he's going to get, and he's going to get down, and hopefully he continues to do that. But I'm more impressed. Again, we talked about pocket passers. I like a quarterback who's a pocket passer first and then's going to run. Like, no one thinks of Aaron Rodgers back in, in his heyday as being a running quarterback, but Aaron Rodgers would be one of the best running quarterback, but he wasn't running, read option and end arounds. He was running for 10 yards after the play as a last resort. He had that ability.
The perfect example today of Aaron Rodgers' prime is Pat Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes, the difference with Mahomes is, yes, they're similar. Mahomes is so good at creating the pass off of the run. If you go all the way back to Bill Walsh, who really started that West Coast offense, and we don't think about running quarterbacks back then, but he actually said back in the 80s, he's like, I'm looking for a quarterback with great feet. All right. So, and no one thought about Joe Montana as being a great runner, but he really had that ability early in his career to run. And certainly Steve Young then took it from there. At the time was one of the best running quarterbacks we had seen. So I love that ability to be able to be a pocket passer like an Aaron Rodgers was and still is, obviously, but to have that ability. I think Jaden Daniels has that in him where he is, look, the efficiency speaks for itself. His quarterback rating, I think, is second or third in the league right now. His efficiency,
and not turning it over. Yeah, he's been
not turning it over.
Yeah,
and now I've hyped him up as much as I can, and I've just been super impressed with him. But I think you're facing a pretty good deal. We forget how good this defense is for the Browns. The offense has been one of the worst in the league. I think this is a little bit of a pullback here. Let's not get too crazy. I don't expect Jaden Daniels to have as big a game as he's had against some of these other teams. Some weaker defenses. Got to play Arizona last week. The week before against Cincinnati, just two really weak defenses. Played the Giants the week before that. This is going to be a test, I think, defensively for this team, and then defensively or offensively, I should say, and then defensively for Washington. They have not been good defensively, so that's where their weak point.
They're the nut opponent, or they had been up until like a couple of weeks ago.
Yes,
like the nuts defense to target.
A lot of people were picking on them last week with Kyler Murray.
Didn't work out last week, but
no, it didn't work out. But yeah, I think, listen, if they're going to get right, if this Cleveland offense is going to get right, this is the week. I think we buy low here with Cleveland. We've seen them at a low point. Washington is getting all the hype in this game. I like Cleveland plus the points. I think they win this game, and I'm going to take Cleveland plus the points. Just kind of bring the Commanders down a little bit. Love what I see from Jaden Daniels. Not a knock on him. I think he's going to struggle a little bit more than he has against this defense. So I think we're getting a little over our skis here on Washington.
Yeah, I'm going the opposite way. I think Jaden will pass the test. I know what you're saying, though. This is a test to step up defensively. I think Jaden will pass the test. And I think this is another game where Washington will. I mean, actually, the biggest negative for me about Washington right now is Brian Thomas Jr., Robinson Jr. not being healthy potentially for it. I don't think that Eckler is, the kind of running back that can shoulder a heavy workload. But hey, wouldn't it be fun to see some vintage Eckler in a game anyway? Right? Like, that's kind of fun. And again, on the Brown side, it's just Watson looks so bad. If Watson wasn't terrible, this is one of those plays where they play the Jets. It's like a football game that you should be taking the underdog. But like the Zach Wilson Jets were so bad they couldn't even overcome those spots. And this might be that. Watson may be so bad that it can't be overcome. I hope I'm wrong in the sense that I'd like to see Watson just getting back to the guy that the Browns signed or they thought they were signing. I'd love to see it, but I mean, I think it's just hopium. I think you're just smoking the hopium if you think it's coming. So I haven't seen anything to imply. Although, again, he looked a little bit better. I saw Cooper dropping some passes. Like maybe he's less bad than what it looks like. So let's see how this one plays out. Withhold judgment. But I definitely think that Jaden Daniels is no one to be trifled with, regardless of the opponent. I think he is that guy. I think he might be that guy. I'm buying in. I'm on the bandwagon. I'm not ready to jump off.
No, he's going to be good. I agree with you. Yeah.
Cardinals at the 49ers. 49ers, 7.5 point road favorite, home favorites, sorry. 49.5 point total. This game is the highest game total of the main slate. Not my favorite game to target necessarily, but it is the highest total on the slate. Obviously, on the 49ers side, when you have a team that's projected for 28 actual points, you're talking 4 touchdowns to go around. There's only so many players that can get one of them. So you got to like the 49ers offense just generally. Which guy is it going to be? Never know. Always like Mason. Always like Debo. Ayuk hasn't gotten it done yet. Maybe this is that time. And Kittle's there. Two of those guys probably have a good game. Flip side, on the Cardinals offense is not as easy to deal with. I usually tend to lean towards Connor as the best play on that offense. And then it's just a bunch of other guys that you never know. So that's my DFS take on this one. I like the 49ers side much better than the Cardinals side.
Yeah, from a betting standpoint, I actually like this game a lot. I like Arizona plus the 7.5. I love getting the hook here. They've got it. I don't know. I haven't looked at the entire. I got it actually here on the app in front of me. We could look. Yeah, you could get 7.5 at Caesars at minus 110. So plus the 7.5. So which is a little bit better there than the DraftKings line of minus 115. I do like that. Where we're seeing all the sharp money coming on this game is to the over. This thing's been bet up quite a bit. I believe it opened at 47.5 or 47, depending on the book. We're now up to the 49.5, even 50 in some spots. Yeah, you've got it up there. Who did I say had it? Caesars has it at minus 110. At least on my screen. Yeah.
On 7.5 you're talking about. Yeah. Plus 7.5.
I'm talking about the plus 7.5. Yeah. To take it on Caesars has the best line there for that.
I'm looking around and you want to hit that pretty soon. Other books are not, they're the other way. I mean, you're getting only plus 5 at plus 7 at DraftKings. So this is way better at Caesars.
Yeah. You want the 7.5 plus 110 over.
Yeah. You got to get the
7 minus 105 for sure. 5 cents. That's worth, I'm forgetting the 7 to the 7.5. It's worth less than 15 cents, but it's certainly worth more than 5.
This is actually, so let's just do a little lesson real quick. I'm going to try to blow this up on screen. Actually, I want to show people this. And John, I'm not sure if you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see it.
Look at that. I didn't realize. Look at that. When you blow it up, it self fits the screen. So I should have done this the whole time. All right. So let me show you something here. On Caesars right now, it's plus 7.5 minus 110. When we scroll over to Penny, okay, it's minus 116. What is this implying to you, John? I know what it implies, but you tell me. It's at minus 116 plus 7.5 on Pinnacle. What does that tell you about the direction of this line most likely?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I like to look at, right. They're offering one of the worst prices on the Arizona side, right? And that's a sharp book, one of the sharper books in the market. So you want to look at where they're offering the worst price, because obviously they're not looking to take action on that side. So they really don't want to take, a sharp better is not going to go to Pinnacle here to bet Arizona, because they could get it. Obviously, they're seeing the same information you are. They could get it at a better price elsewhere. Assuming some of the U.S. books, the sharpest bettors can't really put size on, but some of these offshore books they can. Circa they can, right? So Circa is only giving it to you at plus 7 minus 105. That's another indication, like they're not giving you the best price.
That's why I put Circa on the screen just now
on there, right? So some of the sharper books are not offering this at a good price. So you got the ESPN, which is going to take all sorts of action, but they're not taking sharper. They'll give it to you at plus 8, right? But again, the best price you're going to get is that Caesars price. Now, for the average bettor, you can certainly hit Caesars, right? The guy who's looking to bet 10, 20,000 who's sharp is not going to be able to get the access to Caesars book. So that's where you could take advantage of what the sharps are doing and use it for yourself, who may be a smaller bettor and is not labeled by the sports books as
effectively
being sharps.
Pinnacle is telling you that this line is going to go to 7. The direction is down.
It's going to go. No. Yeah, that's correct. It's going to go
to 7.
Go down. Correct.
That's what I'm saying. They're telling you this. So when you get it at 7.5 at Caesars, you're probably going to beat the closing consensus line by half a point. This is what's so cool about this kind of screener, especially when you have the sharp book in there. And this is what I love about it. This is telling you the bet here. You want to hit this on Caesars at 7.5, because in a day or two, it's going to be 7, right? And you're going to have missed it and you won't get the 7. Now, does that mean you're going to definitely win a bet because you beat the closing line? No. But if you bet like that all the time, you put yourself, those are advantage bets. You are plus EV on those spots. Whenever you beat the closing line, you're probably going to be plus EV. You could always bet the other side of it, hedge out if that's how you like to bet. But more importantly, it's just, if you know the direction and you can get it before it moves, that's an advantage for any bettor to use in many different ways.
There are some pros that are going to use tools like this that you're looking at, and they're going to, it's like trading.
That's all they're doing.
I mean, they're going to be very good at reading the markets and saying, let me pick off these prices that I think are going to be, I'm going to get value against the close. It's called basically closing line value, CLV, right? Yeah. So if you can consistently get closing line value, you will be profitable over the course of a season. So there are some people who are just looking for closing line value. Like, I could just keep picking off these prices that look to be off the market or where I anticipate the market to go at the close. And if you consistently do that, you will become profitable. So people are going to use these tools. That's what people use some of these other tools we talked about earlier in the market. This is just going to be even better than those.
That's literally the only thing that they're doing. So, and by the way, if it overshot to 6.5 somewhere and they think it's going back to 7, they'll hit that side too and middle it. That is the style that you can do having this type of a screener. If anybody's interested in getting signed up for this, like I said, go to sharp.app right now, promo code DFSA30, 30% off for DFS Army YouTube subscribers. So you're watching this, you're eligible for that 30% off on Sharp app. Lock it in now and you get a 30% discount. It is a priceless tool for advantage sports better. So with that being said, Cardinal, yeah, we kind of went through this game. You like the Cardinal side plus 7.5, so hammer that, guys. That is the play if you want to follow along with John's bet on that one. Next up, we got the Raiders at the Broncos. This could be the first time all season that they're favored. They're 2.5-point home favorites in this game on the FanDuel Sportsbook. We'll look at all the others in a minute. The game total is a correctly low 35.5. It is going to be difficult for scoring to go down in a game like this. Broncos defense is super good. Raiders offense, not that good. Watch what happens here. Broncos shut down Jacoby, the law firm, Jacoby and Myers, right, with Pat Surtain. And then what do the Raiders have left? Nothing. Devontae Adams not practicing. He's not playing. He's done with that team. So he's done with the Raiders. So at this point, the Raiders have nothing on offense. They got no answers. Could they get it done? Maybe, but it's gonna be a hard slog getting it done against the Broncos defense. I don't see any. You don't want to play any DFS plays against the Broncos. I made a rule: no DFS plays against the Broncos. Period. None ever. So we're out. As far as the Broncos, though, I have a weird interest, John, in the Broncos offense, and I don't know. Stop me. I kind of think Javonte Williams is not a bad play this week, and I never think he's a good play, and yet here I am. And then I almost kind of think that Cortland Sutton is playable this week as well. I almost went to Bo Nix. That's how crazy I was getting, but that was on a gummy the other night, and now I'm like coming back down to earth and thinking maybe it's too soon for Bo.
Yeah, let's not get too crazy. I can understand maybe the Williams play a little bit. I think they will be able to rush the ball. But just speaking at it from a betting standpoint, 35.5. I talk about it all the time. I'm like, this was like a snowy, windy game back just 2-3 years ago that you'd ever get anything remotely looking like 35.5. And we're getting in, these 36.5s on the regular now in the NFL.
I like the under too. That's what's weird.
Yeah. Look, this Denver defense, I touched on it earlier when we were talking about the Jet game. The Denver defense is now the number one defense on my rankings, and I think we have to start taking this team seriously from a defensive perspective. I don't think when they played Week 1 against Seattle, I don't think anyone realized maybe going into that game how good this defense is. They've been dominant so far this year. So I've got them. My power rankings, which you don't have up there, but I've got them ranked way higher than they're going to be.
You got Denver ranked as the number.
They're not going to be 3, and I actually have a little write up on that below, and you could just go to the Sharp app and read about it. But look, do I think they're the third best team in the league now? Do I think they will be the third? No. And this, again, after 4 weeks, is going to change. But what I like about the power rankings early in the season is they may not be 100% accurate as to where these teams are going to be, but oftentimes it gets us a look into maybe earlier than a lot of people are looking at a team. In other words, this is putting Denver on our radar where you're going to say, well, Denver, no way Denver's their best team, but maybe they're still better than what people, what people think. Maybe they want to be a 10 to 12 team come the end of the season. It's really going to depend on this offense, but just the defense has been so good. And you see those numbers there.
I'm going to highlight what the number means because not everybody understands. I know you want to run through it, but let me highlight what is going on the screen here. Teams are averaging 69.5 fewer passing yards per game when they face Denver compared to a league average team. So a normal team might only throw for 230 yards in a game, and that team is only going to throw for 160 yards if they're facing Denver. That's what that number means right there. So rushing, it's been pretty average, but they're opposing pass catchers are getting 70 fewer yards, which is far and away the highest number in the league. The Jets are up there at 50, and we know the Jets defense is really good too. But for the most part, that's a really high number.
Typically, we saw it last year, and I think we've seen it a little bit this year. If I look at like last year, Carolina was like way up there. Tennessee's in that boat this year. Like a lot of times, you're going to get bad teams be high. When you get a good team that's high, that you really have to take note. Now, from DFS standpoint, we don't really care if it's good team, bad team. A lot of the weaker teams, for obvious reasons, they get down in games. Teams run on them. They don't throw the ball anymore. They're not going to give up a ton of yardage in the passing game, which is why sometimes you don't want to really, you don't want to target the quarterback and pass catchers against some of those offenses. But just from a strictly football standpoint, you want to look at a team that has they're 2-2. They're not setting the world on fire yet. But when a team has done fairly well overall, and they're not the worst team in the league, and they're still, in other words, you take a game like they were in front in that Tampa game by a lot early. So you saw what Tampa could do last night. Tampa's basically put up points against everyone they played against, and they really couldn't do it against Denver in a comeback, in a down by a lot scenario at home. So that really has boosted Denver's rating as well. So I think you have to take note of that. 35.5 is just a crazy little number. I know you like it a little bit to the other. I don't like the game at all. But I would have to lean towards the Denver side. I just think Denver right now is the better team. I think the Vegas team is in a bit of turmoil. So if I had to choose a side on the game, I would take Denver. From a numbers standpoint, I don't have anything that's really pushing me to one side or another on this game.
How about the fact that Denver is number 3 on your power rankings and the Raiders are literally like at the bed number 29? I mean, what more do you need? They're number 29. They stink.
Yeah, I think the Vegas rating is certainly closer to where they're going to be at the end of the year.
This is what I'm saying. Like,
Denver
give
will
me
drop.
Denver. The Raiders are a disaster. They are a mess. They want to bench the quarterback. They don't even know who the quarterback is going to be to the end of this game. It might start with Gardner. Might they might switch to Alexander Ocasio-Cortez over there. Like, it is just a disaster in the Raiders town. They got no running back. It's not good there. And yeah, I like Denver. I like Denver. I like Denver to step up on offense and show a better version of the offense than what we've seen. And that's going to start to justify this higher placement. They're not going to be number 3, but I think by the end of the season, Denver's going to be like number 10. Like, I don't think they're dropping down to the 20s. I think they're a good team that plays amazing defense, and the offense will catch up. Their offense got problems. They don't have weapons in the passing game, but I think their offense will be less terrible. I think actually Bo Nix is good. He's looked good to me. I actually don't think he's terrible. I think he's going to be something. So we'll see.
Hey, Kurt, go back to Kurt Warner. He analyzed him in the preseason, and he agrees with you. So
I got to start watching Kurt.
It's great. Yeah, you'll love it.
I know about this channel. I love that kind of stuff. I love
Warner on YouTube. Yeah, he's
I'm gonna absolutely. I will be all over that. Next game, and this is up there. I love the Packers side of this game. Packers at the Rams. Packers 3-point road favorites here. 48.5 point total. I love this game. I love the Packers. Rams side, whatever, but I love the Packers here. Packers -3. I think that's a good number. I don't know what you're going to say in terms of the spread, though. But as far as like DFS angles, Love, Wicks, Reed, and Dobbs, all of it. And my favorite might actually be the tight end, Tucker Kraft, the touchdown maker, who is going to probably get solo tight end duties in this game with Luke Musgrave looking like he might not play. So I like a lot of what I'm seeing on the Packers side of it. Rams side, it's Kyron. It's the Kyron show until some wide receivers come back, and that's all I'm really interested in. What do you say, John?
Yeah, DFS wise, you've got a little bit of value on the Green Bay side. I think, from at the tight end position and at the wide receiver position. From the betting standpoint,
real quick, Rams on the power ranking sheet. Again, this is one of those tools on the Sharp.
These are two teams that you want to target.
It looks like the Rams are.
Well,
they're allowing tons of rushing yards, 30 more than average. They're below average against the Pat. They're below average defensively across the board.
But they're above average throwing the ball. So that last column, the 37.92, that's kind of a combination of both the passing offensively and defensively. So when you look at both Green Bay and the Rams, they're two of the better teams in on that last column as far as and that's one that it's sort of a quick way to look like, is this a good team to target? Is this a good game target type of team?
Yeah, both very positive numbers.
Yeah, they're really good. So like Detroit's the best one, which is right above Green Bay, and that should be pretty obvious to everybody how good.
A lot of that's because their offense is so good, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what you're looking for.
Give me the next sheet where you pair them up by game so we can get the quick view.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I have that on mine. I don't have it.
I got to share that so I can. I don't have to look this hard.
Yeah. Well, exactly. So yeah, you're looking at the passing yards. I mean, in nowadays NFL, 260 is a ton, which is what the projection is for the Rams, and about 240 for Green Bay, which is way over what the. I mean, I don't even know. I got to look what the average is. I got it up here. If you give me a second, the average passing per team this year is way down. 100. And you know what the average? Yeah, I kind of gave away the beginning of it. The average passing yards per game is 198.75.
That seems so low.
It's insane. So think about, if we're projecting, 240 to 260 on these guys, it's well above the averages. So I like it. I told you, I'm in that pool, which it's like a one and done. You can only take each player one time, and I'm looking at taking Love this week.
How about Flacco this week?
That's not a bad option either because you expect him not to play all year. So I might
maybe use Flacco this time, John. I'm telling you, 300 yards incoming.
I thought about that, but I'm like, at the quarterback, I only need one every week, and I've got 18 weeks, so I don't necessarily I've got to dig deeper at the wide receiver and running back position.
Well, how about Downs and Pittman? But yeah, all right, back to this game though, John. So, what do you think in terms of a bet? Is this a bettable spot?
I love it. I see what you're saying. I know you like Green Bay here, and I do think it's the better side, but I don't love the game. If anything, I like the game to the over. But yeah, it's not a game I'm really looking to bet. I think it's right. The 3 points. I think a lot of people are going to look at it and say maybe that 3 points. People love 3-point favorites on the road because it kind of glares at you. Obviously, that's always the better team, and I think people tend to lean towards 3 points or less road favorites. They like those spots, but yeah, I would as well. I kind of think from the eyeball, just looking at the games myself, Green Bay is the better team here, but yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if the Rams were able to pull off a win. I think the over I like a little bit better. I think this game gets high scoring. I think both teams will score some points here.
Jordan Love stacks in DFS though. Don't shy away.
No, it was great last week, obviously. So, you always feel a little nervous about jumping back on the bandwagon, but I like the spot. I think there's a couple of teams you're going to want to pick on. The Rams are one of them.
Giants at the Seahawks. Seahawks home 6.5 point favors. It looks like it's going to 7. Based on the -120, so we'll check the odds screener, but 42.5 total in this game. Giants without Malik Willis. He's already ruled out, so it's just going to be kind of a different Giants team. Wan'Dale Robinson priced up already.
Neighbors.
Did I say Malik Willis? Malik Neighbors. They're without Malik Neighbors, and actually, weirdly, Darius Slayton comes into play here as a potential punt with some upside, as the WR2 for the Giants with Wan'Dale Robinson already priced up for the role. He's in the 5,500 range on DraftKings already, so a little spendy for him. And as you see here, I said it was going to 7. There it is. It is at 7 on Caesars already. So
that's what I said. If you've got one sports book, where a lot of people just have FanDuel, and you're like, oh yeah, the line's 6.5. Meanwhile, you could get 7.5 at some spots.
Yeah, it's just, you got to shop that. That is how you win or lose, those little margins. But Seattle, they're looking good, looking great, throwing the football to start the season. A Giants defense on the road is not anything that's good. So I think Seattle playmakers are definitely in play across the board in this one, especially, I think maybe Kenny Walker might be one of the best running back plays of the week right now, given sort of this matchup and the heavy favorite home status that he's got going on. But I don't know what you feel about that, and how do you feel about this game in terms of betting angles?
Yeah, from the betting perspective, first off, on the Sharp report, we do have this as an under of 40. The Sharps took it at under 43.5, and it has moved down since. I think you can still get 43 in some spots, 42.5 in a lot of FanDuel's got it at 42.5. So they have pushed this one down a bit. That pushes me more onto the Giants side. I love getting, if I can get a touchdown and a half here on a game that I think stays in the 30s, that's usually pretty strong. So, essentially, if you can get the Giants to score 2 touchdowns in this game, I think you win. And I think they could do that. So I like the plus 7.5. I think the game stays tight enough because it's just going to be low scoring. I don't think the market's expecting a lot of scoring in this game. And, because of that, I do like the dog at the 7.5. But again, I'm not touching it at 6.5 here, which is why you got to have multiple books and take even the 7. I don't mind this at 7. And I would take 7.5. Just if I could get 7 minus 110, I would take 7.5 up to like minus 120 or something like that. So
let's see where you can get 7.5. Hold on.
I think
7 on Circa. So it's exactly 7 on Circa. 7.5 you're going to pay. You're paying for it on ESPN bet minus 125. Is that worth it?
No, because what's the best 7 line? I think you can get minus 110. So I'll take the 110 at Circa. Yeah, I like that plus 7 minus 110 more than any of the 7.5s right now. But if the juice continues to go up on the plus 7s, so you can get it at Caesars as well, I would just take the plus 7 at minus 110. Or
Fanatics seems to have the best 7.5 minus.
Yeah, I mean, if you could keep it 15 cents is pretty close. So if you want to get, I don't mind it. If you want to take minus 125, I wouldn't pay any more than that. Ideally, I'd like to get maybe 12, 13 cents differential before I start taking the 7.5s. But yeah, that's 7 at minus 110, perfectly fine. And I would, if I could find a minus 120, 7.5, I would take that.
Any DFS play here popping for you? Is this it's a low total? Is this something where Geno maybe it's not the week for Geno?
Yeah, I don't think it is. I mean, with this total and a big spread, like we typically don't like the 7-point spreads with the quarterbacks and on a low total. It just doesn't jump
worked. That's not worked as well as we think.
No, but when it's a low total, I don't mind it like in the San Francisco game where we got a little bit of a higher total at a touchdown spread. But I don't know. This game doesn't excite me nearly as much. And I do think they're going I think this is more of a game where I think the running game is going to be pretty good.
Yeah. It's the Walker game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the Walker game too. So, or Seattle rushing attack. If the Giants had Neighbors, all bets are off. This is a whole different situation. But without Neighbors, their offense is just not very good. He is a CD Lamb level difference maker at this point. I think Malik Neighbors is the stud of the 2024 offensive non-QB category draft. So, you redrafted it tomorrow. He's going ahead of Marvin Harrison. He's the top dog. All right. Quick picks. No DFS discussion, but a couple more games. And I just want a quick pick on this one, John. Cowboys Steelers. Cowboys plus 2.5. Cowboys are road 2.5-point underdogs.
Yeah, I do like the Cowboys here plus the points as a bet. Would love to get it at 3. I'm holding off on that one, trying to see if we could get a little better on it, but I do like Dallas.
Does look like it will go to 3.
There's a good chance. Yeah, it's a good chance.
As a matter of fact, I'm looking at FanDuel, but I'm sure that it would be. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, ESPN bet is your best shot right now for plus 3, but not a lock button to get there, John. Actually,
no. But I think it's worth kind of hanging in there and seeing if it'll pop to 3.
It might go there. The Pinnacle has it at plus 102 at plus 2.5. So yeah, actually it does look like it's going to pop to plus 3 there at some point. Again, it's a fun little thing of just if you want to be closing odds between the sharp report and the odds screener, you can consistently beat the closing odds if that's what your game is in sports betting with Sharp app, which I really love about that tool. All right, Saints at the Chiefs. Chiefs minus 5.5 home favorites in this one, 42.5-point total. Any interesting developments here? Yeah, Rashee Rice out for the Chiefs for a while, so fewer pass catchers to throw to. Beyond that, I got nothing. Kamara got some Q tags going on. We'll see what happens with him if he's even healthy for this game. Quick picks, John.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the dog guy. I typically don't like to bet against Mahomes. I'm questioning this Kansas City. I think they've gotten a little bit lucky here in the season. The early part of this season, the line has dropped. I think part of that is Rice not being in this game. I think we were looking ahead at probably closer to 6.5 maybe on this line. I know some places even opened it higher than that, but I do like the Saints. I'll take the Saints here. I think the Saints team is I think we're getting them. I think a lot of people are kind of jumping off the Saint bandwagon. The first 2 weeks, they looked phenomenal. They've come back to life a little bit. I think we catch the Saints on a low, and I just don't think the Chiefs are as good as maybe we think.
Yeah. All right. Chiefs at home, nasty team, but that is a lot. They win, but they win by 3, and you win your bet. So there you go. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the game. Your game plan is set for NFL Week 5. John, reminder that if you enjoy this content, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you want to get signed up at Sharp, you want to check out what Sharp has to offer between the Sharp report, the odds screener, all the good stuff that's coming and being added in daily to the Sharp app team by the incredible tech team over there. Now's the time to get in there. Promo code DFSA30 gets you 30% off, and it locks in. This is the best deal in existence for a Sharp app membership. You're going to want this membership. The Proptimizer tool, we haven't gotten into all of it. You're going to want this membership. It truly is a way for you to be an advantage better. Every bet that you could put on will have a plus EV edge if you follow these tools. So make sure to check out the Sharp app code DFSA30 on sharp.app. John, we will see you next time on another game plan. Good luck this week, everybody.